Terve YouTube! Lone on tää taas ja tervetuloa Lonen reaktio-sarjaan. Siitä on pitkä aika, periaatteessa. Siitä on todella pitkä aika, kun viimeksi on Lonen reaktio-sarjaa tullut. Ja se oikeastaan haittaa minua ollenkaan, sillä on tästä tullut vähän mietittyä, että miten jatkaisi näitä sarjoja, mitä kuvaisi silloin ja tällöin. Ja muutenkin mä oon yrittänyt tässä vähän tehdä sitä top 10 anime-listaa. Mä oon kässärit kirjoitellut ainakin yhteen animeen. Mun pitäisi vielä ääninäyttää se, ja mä oon siitä jo jaksot ladannut, että mä pystyn tekemään niistä sen yhteisen videopätkän, joten edistytään näin hyvällä sanalla. Hyvin sanottuna edistytään kuitenkin. Ja elämässäkin edistytään, joo. Ei mitään uutta. Ja jos sitten videon aikana näette, että mä räpyttelen tosi paljon silmiä, se johtuu siitä, koska meikälle on todettu niin sanotut kuivat silmät, ainakin tällä hetkellä, niin silmät on aika herkkiä vähän kaikelle, että mun pitää jatkuvasti räpytellä niitä ja vähän kaikkea, mutta en usko, että se paljon häiritsee teitä. Minua se enemmänkin häiritsee minun keskittymistä, mutta enkä mä usko, että me pärjätään. Mutta tämän päivänä aiheenamme on The Precious Rainbow, episodi 2. Jos joskus teistä ei muista, mikä tämä Precious Rainbow on, niin selitetään nyt ihan nopeasti teille uusille, jos ette ymmärrä, mikä tämä sarja on. Tai mikä tämä vitun pätkä on olevinaan. Eli tämä kertoo niin sanotusti tuosta Cupcakesin tarinaa. Melkein siitä ihan Cupcakesin lopusta. Että mitä tapahtuisi esimerkiksi, jos vaikka Rainbow Dash pelastettaisiin aika niin kuin tarpeeksi ajoissa. Ja näin tässä kävi. Edellisessä jaksossa Rainbow Dash pelastettiin. Pinkie Pie kuoli. Ihan ja sama mulle. Ja nyt Rainbow Dash on sitten joutunut kokemaan, tai joutuu päättämään, ei päättämään, kun mitä mä selittäisin tän? Joutuu niinku päättämään siitä, miten hän elää niinku elämänsä ilman niitä siipiään, koska hänestä tulee niin sanotusti Earth Pony tästä tämän asian takia, koska siivet on leikattu sahalla. Ja rautasahalla varsinkin, koska eikä hänellä ollut, mutta ylipäätänsä lopetetaan paskan jauhaminen ja aloitetaan videon katsominen, jotta päästään edes eteenpäin tässä vitun videossa, joten nyt.
Sweet Apple Acres farmhouse, the next morning. Applejack was up bright and early at the crack of dawn. She went straight to the kitchen and began preparing breakfast. 20 minutes later, she quietly came into the guest room, where Rainbow Dash was just getting up with a yawn. Rise and shine, Rainbow. Got you some breakfast here, Applejack greeted, setting a tray of hay.
Siis hän näyttää sitä lukia niinku näitä kaikkia hahmoja. Ainakin se on hyvin osunut ääninäytöllä nää. Täytyy sanoa mitään.
A little here, a little there. Just tossed and turned all night,
Rainbow replied, starting into her breakfast. Also, when you're done eating, here, Applejack said, setting a hairbrush next to.
Ja pahoittelen sitten vähän huonosta valaistuksesta, koska minulla on verhot kiinni ihan vaan sen takia, että privacy, kiitos. Ja tuolla ulkonakin on pimeätä, joten se ei auta asiaa yhtään, joten pahoittelen jos huono valaistus, mutta tää pitäisi auttaa pikkusen paremmin. On vähän valoa. Joo.
Walking over to the dresser and sitting in front of the mirror, slowly brushing her unkempt mane. Over a few minutes, the random, tangled spectrum of colors got sorted out, and her mane looked much improved, and Rainbow gave a small smile at herself. It felt a bit better to look halfway decent. She returned to her breakfast and ate heartily. Down the hall in the kitchen, Applejack was getting Apple Bloom for breakfast and getting her ready for school.
Applejack, why's Rainbow here?
Why, Apple Bloom? If I wanted you to know that, I would have told you now, wouldn't I? Her older sister said in a feigned, astonished voice.
Seriously, is she alright?
Apple Bloom asked. You mind your business. She's here to rest. That's all you need to know. Now, finish your breakfast and get off to school. With that, Applejack left Apple Bloom to her breakfast and went to check on Rainbow, who was now back at the nightstand nibbling on some hay, her mane now clean and kept. She gave a soft smile. Well, I'm gonna go get some chores done. Let me know if you need anything at all, okay?
Will do, AJ. Thanks.
Täytyy sanoa, että mä vähän säälin Rainbowta, koska hän menetti tärkeimmän asian hänelle koko elämässään periaatteessa. Se on aika paha juttu yhdelle henkilölle. Ja hitto, täällä on kylmä. Mun on pakko siivota hetkellisesti tästä jälkeen. Ja sen jälkeen varmaan
Travelers in this
no,
morning.
hoitaa kotiasiat, syödä pikkasen jotain, varmaan käydä suihkussakin. Olen suihkut nimittäin ansainnut.
Yeah, she's here. Walked all the way here in the middle of the night.
Mut mä kuvaan nää siis tämän toisen ja kolmannen jakson putkeen nyt, jos nää ei oo kamalan pitkiä. Ei tää varmaan jotain 20 minuuttia, ei oo paha.
She's not sleeping well at all. But just looking at her. And I know she's trying to look happy, but I can see right through it. Well, I'm trying my darndest to be patient with her. I know this is gonna take some time. At least she's here. I think that's all we can give her at this point. It's time. Twilight went in to visit Rainbow for a few minutes, who just sat at the window, staring out at the orchards. Twilight knew she must be going crazy following the doctor's orders, staying off her feet as much as possible, especially considering her long walk last night. Rainbow tried to put on a smile for Twilight, but she, just like the farm workhorse, saw right through it and played along for now. Throughout the morning and early afternoon, the others came by. Rarity was thrilled that Rainbow was wearing her hoodie, and Fluttershy came by with some of her animals. They both shared Applejack's concerns and likewise decided to give her time. They were all confident that Rainbow's loyalty to her friends would bring her around sooner or later. By the time the afternoon rolled around, Applejack was relaxing in the kitchen when there was a gentle but frantic knock at the door. Going to answer it, she was greeted by the cheesy, grinning faces of Applebloom, Sweetie Belle, and Scootaloo. Oh no, she mused.
It's time for the Cutie Mark Crusaders Super Sleepover! Yay!
The three Crusaders said in an obnoxiously loud unison.
Okei, tämä on siis nähtävästi pikkasen kauas menneisyyteen tämä. No, Cupcakes tapahtuu ekan seasonin aikana, joten en sano mitään, joten anteeksi.
Yeah, now
Fine.
I remember, she muttered. Look, y'all, you need to keep it down around the house. I've got a guest resting.
A guest? Who?
Sweetie Belle asked. You mean you didn't tell them? For once you kept something to yourself? This astonished Applejack, who looked at Applebloom.
Oh yeah! Rainbow's staying here, guys!
Applebloom blurted out. Applejack face-huffed.
Rainbow Dash? Really?
Scootaloo asked, her eyes widening with excitement. And you three are to leave her alone. Is that clear? AJ sternly instructed.
Huh?
Scootaloo gave a puzzled look. Y'all don't need to know why she's here except that she's here to rest. Stay away from her. That's the end of it. Now, go to your clubhouse and stay out of trouble, you hear? She got slow, puzzled nods from the three Crusaders who made their way.
Eikä sen kannattaisi kertoa Applebloomille kuitenkin siitä, minkä takia Rainbow on tuolla. Ja se, kohta seuraavaksi tulee joku kysymään, että missä Pinkie Pie on. Ihan varmana tulee kysymään, ja siihen vastauksena löytyy D-E-A-D. Dead. She's dead.
She didn't consider Rainbow Dash a burden at all, but it wasn't something fillies needed to see at their age. She had hoped, for once, that Applebloom and her friends
Tätä tietokonepöytää täytyy oikeasti puhistaa, tää alkaa vähän pölyyntymään. Siis on kumma juttu näillä, en mä tiedä onko kukaan teistä huomannut, mutta kun on musta työpöytä, niin siihen kerääntyy yllättävän paljon pölyä kuin noihin muihin työpöytiin, esimerkiksi vaikka valkoiseen tai muihin väreihin. Siis musta? Anteeksi, mitä vittua? En taju.
Applejack asked.
Huh?
Don't worry, I'm thrilled you're here, but out of all places, you walked 2 miles out here to the acres.
Well, for a number of reasons. I didn't want to disturb Fluttershy's animals. I would have been Rarity's living mannequin. And I'd be even more bored to tears in the library with Twilight. You have a lot of space out here. Fresh air and, well...
Applejack waited for her to continue.
Applejack on se, joka pelasti sinut, joten sen takia ehkä myös on syy, miksi hän on tuolla.
Give me something to do, and it seems like you always need more help. I owe you.
Oh, Sugar Cube, I appreciate the offer, and you're welcome once you recover, but I want you to know that don't owe me anything. Crusader Clubhouse, later that night.
All right, where can we get a giant slingshot? Scootaloo, if a cannon didn't work last month, why would a slingshot work?
Sweetie Belle rebuked. The Crusaders' attempt for cutie marks had grown sillier and more obscure as time went on. It made much of Ponyville wonder whether talents you are good at had really sunk into any of their heads.
I keep on wondering what Rainbow Dash is doing here.
Scootaloo stated.
Well, maybe it has to do with her cloud house above Ponyville.
Applebloom offered.
What about it? It's not there anymore.
Scootaloo said.
Maybe there was something wrong with it? Then why is she resting? Why is Applejack telling us not even to go near her?
Miksi se ei ole niitä kuvia niin kuin siinä edellisessä jaksossa? Tää on enemmänkin nyt kuunnelma, mutta ei se minua haittaa oikeastaan. Saatte nähdä, kun mie perselen muiden tavaroiden kanssa täällä silloin, kun mä kuuntelen tätä pätkää. Ja kehotan kuuntelemaan tämän ilman minun selostusta, jos mä häiritsen teidän kuuntelua, olen pahoillani. Mutta tämä on YouTube ja minä olen YouTube-videon tekijä, joten minä saan tehdä mitä minä haluan.
Farmhouse. 10 minutes later, owls and crickets could be heard through the acres as night set in for the next several hours. Applejack made her checks around the house, making sure everything was just so before heading towards her room down the hall. Passing the closed guest room door, she heard a muffled commotion on the other side. Silently opening the door, she quietly came up to the bed as Rainbow shifted uneasily in her sleep. She found herself restrained to the planks again. Fear crept into every vein in her body.
No, 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 not again. Time to get started.
She heard a cheery voice from nowhere. Black was all around her as she tried to fight against her restraints.
Dash, Dash, Rainbow, wake up,
Applejack said, gently shaking Rainbow's shoulder.
No, please, no.
She mumbled in her sleep.
No, please, no.
She pleaded. She felt a presence behind her, stretching out her right wing, ready to bring down the knife. Rainbow's uneasy shifting became more apparent. Suddenly, her sleeping body jolted, the covers rippling. She gave a short scream.
No! Please!
Rainbow, wake up! She yelled from the dream world beyond. Pain shot through her back as her right wing fell into the blackness. Her left wing was stretched out. She felt the teeth of the hacksaw grind against her bone.
No!
She screamed in pain.
Rainbow Dash!
A voice from beyond called her in the darkness.
Rainbow Dash!
Applejack yelled to snap the Pegasus out of her nightmare. Rainbow bolted up with a scream, frantically looking around.
It's all right. It's all right. It's me,
Applejack quickly said, attempting to calm her frightened friend. Then came another scream, a muffled one, from outside her bedroom window. Both ponies looked in surprise. When Scootaloo saw the red, bloody areas of Rainbow Dash's bandaged back, her pupils contracted. Her whole body went cold as she let out a blood-curdling scream, and immediately turned tail and ran back into the forest towards the clubhouse, followed quickly by Applebloom and Sweetie Belle. Tears pricked Rainbow's eyes, and it only took a split second for Applejack to put the pieces together. Seeing the three fillies run back into the darkness of the forest, and her face became one of disbelief and anger. Wait right here, Rainbow. I'll be back. Promise. With that, she left the room and was quickly...
Siis tommosista traumoista Rainbow ei ikinä tuu pääse eroon. Siis ei ikinä. Siis kun puhutaan sotaveteraaneista, he kantaa sitä tuskaa, mitä he on siinä sodassa kärsinyt esimerkiksi loppuikänsä. Kaiken se, mitä on nähnyt, se kaiken väkivallan, ne näkee unissaankin jopa. Sama tilanne on tässä oikeastaan.
She said, just above a whisper.
We're sorry.
Her younger sister began to apologize before being harshly cut off.
Shut it! You think I tell you these things for no reason at all? Did I tell you no for fun?
The Crusaders looked at her, frightened.
We were just curious as why Rainbow was...
I told you to leave her alone. I told you not to go near her. A lot of good your curiosity did you tonight. Not another word came from the three fillies.
I don't want to hear another pipe. If there's another hoof out of this clubhouse for the rest of the night, you'll be out of school before the next sleepover. Understood?
All she got in return were teary-eyed nods from them. Scootaloo shuddered in her corner. AJ left without another word. Farmhouse, 10 minutes later. AJ returned to the farmhouse and brought a cool glass of water to the guest room, where Rainbow had her back to her, sitting on her bed.
Onks kukaan muuten ostanut koskaan Pirkan omenamehua? Tää on näyttävä hyvää jonojuomaa, vaikka appelsiinimehu ei ole ihan jonojuomaa helposta. Halpaa hyvää.
I can't take this anymore. I can't even look at them anymore.
She sobbed, looking at the starry sky from her window. The fillies?
No.
Rainbow sniffled.
No, the stars, the sky, my cutie marks. Every time.
She turned to Applejack with something of a frustrated, scared look in her eyes.
I'm tired of being reminded of who I was, what I loved doing, what Pinky took away from me. How?
She collapsed onto her back haunches in tears.
How am I ever gonna be able to move on if that reminder is always there?
She sobbed. Her tears
Totta, itse asiassa Rainbow puhuu tähän asiaan.
Applejack stared at her friend for a moment before getting off the bed and sitting next to her, putting her front leg around her friend.
Sugar, think it's gonna be that easy? Just throw away all of who you used to be and start anew? Well, that's not gonna happen, hon. You have to remember who you were and adapt to your new life. But that doesn't mean you have to change who you are entirely or forget who you used to be.
Rainbow continued to cry, but it let up a bit.
What did she do to you, Rainbow?
The Pegasus sniffled and shot her a bothered glance.
I don't think I'll ever be ready to talk about that. Besides, you of every pony should have the best idea.
It was all a rush, Rainbow. I didn't really take it all in when I got you out of there. But maybe you're having these nightmares because you're keeping it all inside.
Nothing more was said for a minute, while AJ continued to silently comfort Dash with her mere presence.
She drugged me.
Drugged you?
Yeah. With something in her cupcakes. I woke up restrained to planks, and all around the room were these decorations of parts and bones and organs of ponies.
AJ said nothing, just listening to her friend.
She said that she needed more special ingredients for her cupcakes and that my number came up. She started with my cutie marks, cut both of them off my flanks, and then she took off my wings.
Rainbow shuddered again, fresh tears rolling down her cheeks.
The first thing she did was take away what made me special. What made me me.
AJ continued listening intently.
And then she ate part of me. Part of the muscle that was in my right flank. It didn't even faze her. Like it was normal.
Another few minutes passed while Rainbow tried her best to keep herself composed and recall that horrific night all too recently.
I blacked out several times and she just injected me with adrenaline. And then came the nails. Burning hot. Hammered right into my back hooves. Attached to copper wires. She electrocuted me until I blacked out again. It felt like every inch of my body was on fire. And then she gave me a painkiller, and I couldn't feel anything below my ribs. She said it was time for the last round, and I'd be awake to watch the harvest. And then you showed up.
AJ held in her horrified reaction and simply wrapped her arm tighter around Dash's shoulders. Tears began to fall from her eyes as well. Rainbow began weeping again.
Applejack, if you hadn't shown up when you did, I...
There were no more words to say as she just sat there, head lowered, crying.
Avasti.
AJ wrapped
Ei
both
nyt.
arms around her friend, crying with her.
Sori tosta.
I'm so sorry you had to go through that. And mark my words, sugar. I swear on my life, if there was any way,
She searched for the right words.
I would give up the farm, my livelihood. I would give up all I am if it meant making you whole again.
Chapter 2.2 Heart to Heart. Sweet Apple Acres, the next morning. None of the Crusaders...
Voin kyllä kuvitella, että Applejack ei voi millään tavalla kuvitella sitä kaikkea, mitä Rainbow on joutunut kokea. Sillä Pinkie Pie kidutti sitä kirjaimellisesti. Ehkä niin kuin pahimmalta tavalla. Oikeasti on pahempiakin tapoja kiduttaa, mä tiedän sen, mutta on toi silti aika fucked up.
I don't think you want to be questioning anything I tell you right now. Go to the house and stay in your room. Is that clear?
Apple Bloom simply nodded and began to make her way out of the clubhouse.
Come on, you two. Hurry and get up.
Applejack had other motives for going into town today. Other than getting the Crusaders back and explaining last night's incident to their parents, she also remembered that the nurse had instructed Rainbow to return to get her bandages changed, and she didn't want her to go 2 miles back and forth, and she had dealt with farm injuries before, so changing gauze was no big hassle. Farmhouse. Applejack returned an hour later with a saddlebag. Big Macintosh was busy making breakfast.
Apple Bloom in her room?
Yep. AJ made her way to the guest room, where Rainbow was just beginning to get up, due to her restless sleep last night.
Good news, Rainbow. I went and got the gauze, so you don't have to walk all the way back to Ponyville to get them changed. And we can see if they're starting to heal up, too.
Rainbow gave AJ a small smile.
Applejack, thanks for last night. I think that helped.
No problem at all, Sugar Cube.
Rainbow tossed the covers aside and sat up.
Se on itse asiassa vähän niin kuin totta oikeasti sillä tavalla, että jos sulla on jokin asia, mitä sä pelkäät, ja sä et koskaan kerro siitä kellekään, tai jokin asia, mikä painaa sun mieltä, sä et ikinä kerro siitä kellekään, ei sä tule koskaan parantumaankaan siitä ongelmasta, jos et sä kerro siitä kellekään. Edes vaikka jollekin tuttavalle, kaverille, veljelle, siskolle, aivan sama, jollekin sentään. Tai sit jollekin ihan sosiaalityöntekijälle, sillä ei ole mitään väliä.
Again, there was much improvement. Her cutie marks had reattached where they had been cut off. Fresh scar tissue formed a circle around them, but they appeared to be healing.
Se nimittäin auttaa hän oikeasti. Kokeiltu.
Applejack happily said. She moved to her right cutie mark, where part of her muscle had been removed by Pinky, and she gently pressed with her left hoof.
How's that feel, Sugar?
She asked.
Still a little numb, but I can feel it.
Dash replied.
Good sign.
Then, Rainbow turned around in a sitting position. Her back legs half dangled off the bed. Applejack carefully unwrapped the gauze around her back hooves and inspected the healing areas.
These look the best of all. I'd say you'd be good in a week at most, Rainbow. I'll even go one further right now. And I won't insist that you stay in bed.
Applejack said, replacing the bandages on Rainbow's back hooves.
Good, because I want to talk to Apple Bloom.
And what do you need to tell her?
Something that'll only work coming from me.
For the first time since arriving, Rainbow joined Applejack, Big Macintosh, and Granny Smith out in the kitchen for breakfast. Both Big Mac and Granny were equally optimistic about the rate of Rainbow's recovery. After breakfast, Rainbow took a tray of food down the hall and gently knocked on Apple Bloom's door.
Come in,
she said somberly, expecting her big sister and some more chastising. Instead, Rainbow walked in.
Oh, hi, Rainbow. Look, I'm really sorry about Apple Bloom. I'm not mad. Applejack has every right to be mad because you disobeyed. But I just want to talk, that's all.
Rainbow reassured her.
Mitähän se kertoo sille?
The recovering Pegasus said, setting the tray next to the filly laying on the bed, resting her chin on her hooves.
We were just curious as to why you were staying here. She didn't have to yell at us like that.
Apple Bloom pouted.
Look, Apple Bloom, I was your age once, and I hated being told no too. But what you three saw, fillies your age really shouldn't have seen. Curiosity isn't always the best thing to have. But she's always bossing us around, telling us that we can't do things, and not telling us why.
The young yellow filly complained.
Apple Bloom, AJ's trying to protect you. You should be grateful that you have her. I never had any siblings to grow up with. And I'll tell you something.
Rainbow said, taking a seat next to her on the bed.
If not for your big sister, I wouldn't be here right now. She saved my life, Apple Bloom. So, I know it's not fun being punished, but you need to appreciate the fact that you have your sister here.
Apple Bloom didn't answer.
Älä viitti, Rainbow, sä saat mut itkemään ihan kohta. Siis ihan oikeesti, mä alan oikeesti vittu itkeä kohta.
Oh, just think about it. I'm headed into town. To do what? Talk to another Crusader. I imagine we have one freaked out and frightened Pegasus on our hands right now.
Rainbow went one door down to her room.
Niin, Scootaloo.
And told Applejack she was
sen elämän idoli on oikeastaan vittu, kun joku vittun kävelevä zombi.
And with that, she left the farmhouse and trotted to Ponyville outskirts, 30 minutes later. Rainbow, with her wonderful body, walked up to a brick home in one of the outskirt neighborhoods of Ponyville and knocked on the door. Seconds later, a light purple Pegasus opened the door.
Rainbow, nice to see you,
she said, trying to hide the surprise in her voice.
Thanks. I know Applejack probably told you what happened last night, but I was wondering if I could talk to Scootaloo.
Yeah, that would probably be best. She's in the backyard with her scooter. Take it easy. She's still a bit shaky.
Rainbow nodded and walked around the house to the backyard. Scootaloo had a screwdriver and hoof, adjusting the back wheel of her scooter.
Hey there, Scoot.
Rainbow greeted as she walked up to her. Scootaloo turned to her nervously.
Rainbow, what are you doing here?
Kenen luona ne oikein on? Scootalullahan ei ole vanhempia.
Sidewalk next to her and her method of transportation.
Vai olenko mä nyt oikeasti ihan vitun väärässä?
Scoot, I'm not mad. I just wanted to see how you were doing. I know what you saw last night must have been pretty scared. I know I should have left you alone, but all I've been hearing around town the last few days is how you survived, and every pony wondering how you're doing, and how the investigation is going. Well, it's not really for Philly ears. But since you already saw what happened to me, I'll answer everything the best I can, if it helps put your mind at ease.
Scootaloo nervously glanced at her back, covered by the hoodie.
Does it hurt? Or feel weird?
She shakily asked.
It doesn't really hurt anymore. And of course it still feels weird, considering I had my wings all my life. But, aren't you scared? Absolutely.
Rainbow said softly, placing a hoof on her fan's shoulder.
Scoot, I was very scared when I realized what happened. That they couldn't fix me. When I laid there in the hospital at night, even when I moved in with Applejack, I cried myself to sleep because I didn't know what to do with my life anymore. It's something I'm still figuring out. There are still times I'd give up anything just to fly again, or just to feel like I'm flying. But it's something I'm going to have to accept eventually, and move on. Right now, I'm just grateful that I'm alive.
Toi siis tuntuu vähän samalta kuin, miettikää jos multa joku veisi jalat esimerkiksi. Mä en pysty enää ikinä kävelemään, niin kun sä mietit sitä, että millaista oli ennen kävellä, se on täynnä räjäyttävä se kokemus siitä, kun sä mietit, että millaista se oli kävellä, juosta, kaikkea tämmöistä. Se muuttaa sun elämää niin paljon. Sama on Rainbow Dashillakin. Sillä on ollut siivet koko sen elämän. Niin siipien poistaminen muuttaa sen kaiken.
And when you finally find your life's calling and your cutie mark, just don't embrace your talent with all your heart, but embrace everything you do, every day. Because tomorrow, it might not be the same. It can all change in an instant. And I'm not trying to scare you, but with all I went through, I'm still viewing life more and more as a gift not to be wasted.
Scootaloo looked up at her and gave her a smile, then hugged her.
Sä sait periaatteessa Rainbow Dash uuden tilaisuuden, puhuttaisiko näin. Joku korkeampi päätös antoi sulle toisen mahdollisuuden jatkaa elämää. Kukaan ei ansaitse kuolla tuolla tavalla, miten Rainbow Dash olisi voinut kuolla. Siis kukaan ei ansaitse sellaista tapaa kuolla.
She said, tipping the filly's chin up with her hoof.
You got it, Rainbow Dash,
she said confidently. Rainbow smiled, said goodbye, and right before she departed, Scoot called her.
Hey, Rainbow. Yeah? Well, have you tried diving? Huh? When me and Apple Bloom and Sweetie Belle tried to get our cutie marks several months ago, we tried diving and swimming. It felt like flying to me. Moving through the water, well, I think it feels like flying. I guess we'll have to find out when my wings grow enough. Maybe if you want that flying feeling back, you could try swimming.
Rainbow smiled.
Maybe I'll try that. Thanks, Scoot.
And with that, she departed. Rainbow wasn't quite ready to depart the town yet. Before heading back out to Sweet Apple Acres, Rainbow stopped to Fluttershy
Itse asiassa se voi ihan olla
gently knocked on the
faktana,
door. Her
totta.
quiet, gentle childhood friend answered the door.
Oh, good. You're here. I thought you might be out with some of your animals.
Rainbow greeted.
I was about to be.
Fluttershy replied, smiling upon seeing her friend.
What can I do for you, Rainbow? I just came for my stuff. Then I'll be on my way. Oh?
Fluttershy asked, glancing back inside. There was a saddlebag sitting neatly next to the couch. She walked over to the couch and slung the saddlebag over her back.
I'm not about to have you walk all the way back to the acres carrying this. I'll go with you. Fluttershy, it's all right. Nope, won't hear it. You're recovering. Fine, Fluttershy. You win.
The two of them set out,
heading out of Ponyville with a small handful of woodland creatures in tow.
So, how are you liking it over at Applejack's farm?
Fluttershy asked.
Well, I'm glad she finally gave me permission to move around and actually go do some stuff. I was going insane in that guest room, especially after what happened last night. Oh? What happened? Apple Bloom and two of her friends saw what happened to me last night. Oh my! That's partially why I came into town, to talk to Scoodloo and see how she was doing. I think she'll be alright. I hope so. She always looked up to you as a role model. So, how do you do it, Fluttershy?
Rainbow asked after they got out of Ponyville halfway back to the farm.
Do what? Spend so much time on the ground. You never did take much to flying. Didn't you ever think it was part of who you are?
Ehkä mä kuvaan vaan tänne yhden, koska oikeasti silmiin alkaa sattua. Siis oikeasti, silloin kun se on kuivat silmät, niin räpyttäminen alkaa sattua silmiin. Se on tosi outoa, siis ihan sika-outoa. Ja mä en ole vielä mikään hyvä silmätippojen kanssa, joten kivat jutut minulle. Kertokaa muuten, ootteko te itse kuinka hyvin silmätippojen kanssa. Se on oikeasti yllättävän vaikeaa, kun miettii. En mä tiedä, ehkä se on vaan minä.
Rainbow considered this.
So, what do I do? For now, I just think back to how your cutie mark appeared. That's the best place to start, I think.
When they arrived back at Sweet Apple Acres, Fluttershy greeted AJ and then took Rainbow's possessions into her guest room.
Thanks, Fluttershy. Oh, not a problem at all, Rainbow Dash. Good luck. See you later.
For the better part of the day, Rainbow sorted through her possessions that Fluttershy gathered from her home, hanging her dress in the closet, setting her old gold tiara from the Best Young Flyers competition on the dresser, followed by the jar of rainbow liquid. And lastly, her hooves came up out of the saddlebag with a very precious item. Her harmony necklace, gold with a jeweled ruby lightning bolt in the center. She gently set that down on the center of the dresser. She began to think back to the day where she got her cutie mark after racing the two bullies at summer flight camp. How she'd been shoved off the course and made up for it by going faster than she ever had before, and hit the lowest checkpoint loop going so fast she made a sonic rain boom that hadn't been seen in generations. On her way back up to the finish line, her cutie mark appeared.
So, if it's not flying, then what is it?
Chapter 2.3 A Rainbow in Water. Sweet Apple Acres, 1 week later. Rainbow stood at the shore of a small lake about a half-mile from the farmhouse. The sun hadn't even come up yet, and it looked like rain clouds on the horizon. She didn't mind. She was going to take Scoodloo's suggestion and give this a try. After all, it had been nearly a week since she'd bathed, and this would prove to be refreshing. She turned her head and looked at her back. Her stubs had begun to heal, the first layers of skin forming. She was sure they'd be fine. She removed all her bandages for the swim. Slowly, she stepped into the water. The water felt cold on her back hooves, but she quickly adjusted to the temperature, stepping deeper in. The water now halfway up her legs. Her hooves glided on the petals and wet sand on the bed of the lake. She began a slow trot deeper into the water. Now it was up to her chest and belly, almost up to her flanks. She grabbed the silver goggles hanging around her neck and strapped them over her eyes, took a deep breath, and leaped forward, diving into the water. She went under with a splash. She looked at the clams and pebbles at the bottom of the lake, and went deeper. She reached forward with her front hooves and pulled back, propelling her body through the water. It felt so refreshing. With a grin, she repeated the stroke, and spun in the water. The world above was muted and muffled. It wasn't the wind rushing through her mane, around her body, but Scoodloo was right. It was a lot like flying. She let her legs go limp, lazily lifting up as she let herself list in the depths. This was a peace she hadn't felt all week. With a gurgled, bubbly laugh, she pushed up her hooves a few times, and her head broke the surface of the lake. She took a few deep breaths. She tread the water for several moments before taking another deep breath and going under again. Farmhouse, 1 hour later. When Applejack rose out of her bed an hour later, the weather had changed considerably, with a rush of rain pelting the roof and windows. She got out of bed with a yawn, and went to check on Rainbow, only to find the bed empty, and her bandages in a wastebin next to it. She immediately went into the kitchen, where she found Big Macintosh at the stove making breakfast.
Hey, Big Mac. Where's Rainbow? Said she was going out swimming by the lake. That was about an hour and a half ago. What? It's pouring rain out there. Wasn't pouring when she went out. Still.
If she was gonna come back when it started raining, I think she'd be back by now. It's been coming down like this for a good 45 minutes now.
Oh, what am I
Hyvin
doing
laskettu,
her?
Big Mac.
With that, Applejack went out into the thunderstorm, making her way to the lake. 15 minutes later. With no more than an hour in the lake, Rainbow Dash had turned into a fish with legs.
Saatte kuulemma nostaa peukkui mulle, sillä nimittäin huomenna on 17. päivä.
My favorite one was swimming up
Ei kun itse asiassa 16. päivä. Mä julkaisen tämän varmaan aika nopeasti tämän videon. Mä editoin varmaan tänään saman päivän aikana, kun kuvaankin tän. Niin mulla on tänä perjantaina periaatteessa se armeijan, no yleinen lääkärin tarkastus. Niin siellä nähdään sitten, miten asiat menee. Mä toivon, että kaikki menee hyvin. Vähän hermostuttaa. Tai no ei oikeastaan hermostuttaa niin paljon kuin eikalla kerralla, mutta...
What are you doing out here? She turned and saw Applejack at the shore, some 30 feet away, and gave her a smile.
What does it look like? Swimming.
She greeted. It's raining cats and dogs. Rainbow just giggled.
Yeah, so? I'm already entirely wet.
Applejack halted her chastisement of Rainbow when she noticed her entirely carefree demeanor. For the first time since arriving, she didn't seem depressed and down. So you just decided you'd come out before a thunderstorm and take a swim?
Yep.
Rainbow replied happily, taking a short dive under and immediately coming back up again, her rainbow mane soaked and flat against her forehead and neck.
I went into town to talk to Scootaloo, and she suggested swimming if I wanted to feel something close to flying again.
A rumble of thunder rolled over the lake area, and lightning flashed the hazy morning sky.
Besides, I've spent years making thunderstorms. About time I got wet in one, if you ask me.
Rainbow said with another giggle. Applejack was so astonished that Rainbow had suddenly returned to something resembling her former self, and all it took was a dip in the lake.
Besides, I've been doing some thinking out here.
Rainbow said, coming out of the lake onto the shore, dripping wet, with still more rain coming down. Lifting her goggles up onto her forehead, Rainbow started taking a long route back to the farmhouse through one of the acre's apple orchards, with AJ right beside her. Thinking about what?
About my cutie marks. Fluttershy told me they're more special than I think, and they still have meaning in my life. They're healing pretty fast, so I'm wondering if they reflected my love of flying at all.
Applejack pondered this as well, looking at her friend's flank. A cloud and a rainbow lightning bolt. What else could that mean?
I don't know just yet, but maybe what I needed was some time out in the rain.
Why, so you can catch a cold?
No, to grow.
Rainbow replied. Huh?
Well, your trees need equal amounts of sunshine and water to produce these apples, so maybe in order to grow and move past this, maybe all I need is some rain. Who says plants are the only things that need a little rain now and then?
The farmhouse came into view, and the rain began to light up.
Se on hyvä kysymys muuten Rainbowlta, että mitä se niinku sen syvysmerkki tarkoittaa muuta kuin sitä lentämistä. Mutta kuten mietitään, hän on element of... Mikä vittu se oli? Miten mä unohdan näin yksinkertaisen asia? Loyalty, niin. Niin ehkä se liittyy jollakin tavalla siihen, ainakin näin mä vähän epäilisin.
What is it, AJ?
The workhorse motioned up to the rainbow. Maybe that's what your cutie mark represents. No matter what storms you go through.
Jos tehdään ehkä video tosta mun kissasta, koska se on niin jövö, niin mä haluan näyttää sen jossakin vaiheessa teille. Koska te ette varmaan vieläkään tiedä, miltä se näyttää, joten mä aion ehkä joskus näyttääkin sitä videota odotellessa.
Thanks, AJ.
No problem at all. Now, let's go get dried off.
Se oli nopea loppu, sanotaanko näin. En ihan odottanut, että tässä olisi tullut sitä lopputekstiä tai jotain tämmöistä, se on mun mielestä paljon parempi. Mutta The Precious Rainbow, episodi 2. Mun täytyy sanoa, että herätti pikkasen tunteita pintaan ihan vaan sen takia, koska... No tää on tunteellinen sarja, mä tiedän sen. Mut ei onneksi mitään Prado Discord-tyyliä, onneksi sentään. Hei katti nyt. Iisisti. Älä riehu mun tavaroiden kanssa. Niin, mietitääs. En mä vaan tiedä. Ehkä mäkin tarttisin jonkun tämmöisen niin sanotun miettimistauon itsellekin, että... Joskus aina kaikki tarvitsee sellaista miettimistaukoa. Sehän on ihan fakta. Mutta mä toivon, että tykkäsitte tästä tämänkertaisesta jaksosta. Ja mitäs muuta? En mä oikein tiedä mitään muuta. totta kai voi aina laittaa viestiä, kertoo miten itsellä menee, totta kai. Jos haluaa kertoa tietenkin, koska mielellään itsekin halusin tietää miten teillä menee, totta kai. Mutta totta kai, Lone kiittää ja kuittaa, nähdään jälleen kerran seuraavan videon parissa. Se on meikäläisen puolesta, morjesta moi!